Why, good evening and welcome to Francis Dunry Astrology on a night session tonight. We're in the dark a bit, which is makes it slightly different. In the dark, in the shadows, you could say. Before I go any further, please press the subscribe button and subscribe to my channel. That would be amazingly helpful if you could, and I really appreciate that. Today we're going to talk about Saturn in Aries and how we decipher that. And one of the ways in which we decipher astrology in general. First of all, imagine we're looking at a giant theatre stage set, right? So we're in the audience and we're looking at the stage set. And there's a bunch of actors on the stage. And they're about to perform, perform a play. And when we look at astrology, it's the same type of thing. And the way we work it out is we go, the actor is the planet. The sign that the planet is in is the script, and the house that the planet is in is the backdrop, is the scenery. So when we look at Saturn, we look at the actor. What does he do? Like what's his basic role? Well, you could say in many ways he restricts. He puts boundaries on. He makes it difficult. He gives you some lead boots. And he installs a natural fear in there that you might think is happening to you from the outside, but in actual fact, you were born with your Saturn placement. And rather than seeing it as something that happens to you, think about this fear, this planet Saturn, as a natural fear that you were born with, that shows up for you all the time. So imagine you've got a projector in your belly button, and what's going on inside of you shows up on the outside all the time. So you're literally surrounded by your own psychology. And that includes the shadow. And we don't mind all the other planets like the moon and Venus. We like all those. So we kind of like, but the Saturnian one is a fear. So there's a natural fear that we're born with. And so Saturn is the great, he deals in reality. Like Saturn would say, you might say, I'm freezing cold, and Saturn would say, did you collect firewood? And you go, no. He goes, well, you're freezing cold then. He's the taskmaster. You've got to, you have to deal with these rules. Like there's no way out. It's almost like stoic. It's like it's a hard lesson. It's what my friend called the emotional value of pain. So oftentimes, and like I said on some of the other videos, if you do your Saturn, it turns out to be your best friend. So it's really in your interest to do your Saturn. And then we look at the sign that Saturn is in. So we know he restricts. That's our actor. He's going to restrict it in Aries. So what is Aries? Well, Aries is potency, is fight, is challenge, is I call it the seed's impulse to grow. Aries people, you normally like somebody that like something to go up against. They like a good fight. They like somebody to go up against. So, and it's like the seed on the first day of spring. The seed wants to go up. I'm going up, and it starts pushing and fighting like Aries do, And but when Saturn is in Aries, it makes the person frightened of that, and that's how we decipher this. It makes you frightened of that. Or in the first house, Saturn in the first house has the same qualities. And so Saturn in the first house or Saturn in Aries has that same fear about it. I'm frightened of being attacked. Because I don't feel like I've got what it takes to throw the punch. I don't feel potent. I don't think I can make it. It's like you're standing on one side of a stream and there's a 5-foot jump, and all the meaning of your life is on the other side of the stream. And you go to jump, but you won't jump because you're too frightened you're not going to make it. And so you stay on this side of the stream that's actually boring and just a waste of your life. You have to jump, but the person with Saturn in Aries is too afraid to jump, and so they don't get to have the meaning of their own life. That's the price they pay. And oftentimes with Saturn, once they make that jump, and sometimes it can go to like you're 50 or 60 years old before you make the jump. But when they make the jump, then Saturn becomes their best friend. This is normal with Saturn. Every time you do your Saturn, it becomes your best friend. And sure, they might still be a bit frightened and stuff, but they won't be so afraid of their challenges after that. If they make the jump and all their life has been waiting for them on the other side of the stream. So it seems like a miracle. And that's why I love to do the Saturnian readings, because it gets the devil off your back. It takes that fear away and becomes your best friend. It's, remember the story of the Beauty and the Beast, where the Beast kidnaps the Beauty till she learns to love him for who he is, and then he turns into a handsome prince. So the handsome prince in terms of Saturn in Aries is the fact that they get to have the meaning of their life, and they get to stop being frightened of challenges, and they get to throw that punch. They're not afraid anymore. And you know, there's an overcompensation with Saturn also, where they attack you before you attack them. Sometimes you get people like that because they're so afraid of being attacked, they just throw the first punch. That's another way that Saturn can affect them. But in general, it tends to be they're frightened to make the first move. I have a friend who stayed in a meaningless job that he hated for years until he was 55. Until he knew what he had to make the jump, and he knew what it was on the other side. He knew what he wanted to do, but he was too frightened to do it. And normally with Saturn in Aries, it's not the fact that once they make the jump, they're up and running and they love it. That's not the problem. The problem is getting started in the first place. That's always the problem with Saturn in the first house or Saturn in Aries, to get the people to go and do it, you know, just to start it, just go on, just start, just jump. It doesn't matter if you fall flat in your face, just jump. Jump and get wet. Don't worry about it. And then jump again, and then jump again, and jump again, and jump again. But once they get started, once they make the jump, that's it, they're off, you know, normally. And even though, you know, they might face other challenges in their life, they're nowhere near as afraid to jump. And they don't go around frightened, and they're not frightened people's going to attack them. And that's why Saturn is such a great lesson for us to learn, is because it's a huge life change. Like, it's a real game changer, Saturn. Like once you start to understand your shadow, it's an amazing feeling to actually go and do your shadow, not to be frightened like that anymore. Because let's face it, if you don't do your Saturn, you're not going to get away with it. It won't stop. It's not like, you know, it's going to, oh, well, now that I'm 50, it doesn't do it. No, it will just continue till the day you drop. So it's really in your interest for you to do your shadow. And I've done thousands of readings now in my life, in my 35-year career as an astrologer. And, you know, to see these people come alive and do their thing, it's amazing. It's a beautiful thing to see. After being frightened all the time in this kind of like, you know, in this dark cupboard by themselves with this secret fear that, you know, somebody, they might get found out, to see them just go and jump and then like, wow. And their whole life, you know, comes alive. And they get to live their life they want. Saturn is a handsome prince. You know, he's not the beast you think he is. That's what that story means. The beast kidnaps the beauty till she learns to love him for who he is, and then he turns into a handsome prince. This is the handsome prince. Now, I know you might be frightened to do it, but it, you know, as we go through the Saturn placements over these next 12 days, you're going to see you'll be in there somewhere. And you'll know what I'm talking about at some point with the different shadows. But that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed our little chat. Please don't forget to press the subscribe button. I look forward to seeing you every day on here. I'll have a different Saturn placement for you every day. And plus, if you go to francisdunneryastro.com, that's francisdunneryastro.com, you can sign up for all sorts of stuff on there. I have my horoscopes on there, my monthly horoscopes. You can sign up for readings. There's children's readings on there. There's transit readings. There's natal readings. There's the burning question readings. Go and have a look at my website, and you'll see that. francisdunneryastro.com. I hope you're having a great day. Press the subscribe button, and I will see you tomorrow. Thank you, guys. Have a good one. Bye-bye.